What's up, Podfic Listeners? Today I'll be reading Chapter 2 to Life is Rough, but I'm so fortunate to have met you. It wasn't always that the both of them were present or conscious whenever Izuku came by to get Teddy. Oftentimes, Shouta would still be in bed in the early mornings, or Hisashi would be on patrol in the afternoons. Izuku seemed comfortable enough with the both of them, though, that he didn't mind being alone with either pro hero. Not that Izuku knew they were pro-heroes, although Shouta suspected the boy was onto something. Or at the very least, he was suspicious. Despite the boy's supposed suspicions, however, Izuku didn't bat an eyelash at their odd hours. Hisashi supposed it had something to do with the boy's father working so late in the evenings, and Izuku had mentioned that his late mother was a nurse, so the child was most likely used to strange timetables. All of which being said, that morning was like most others. Hisashi had left early, before Shouta or any of the animals had awoken, to go to the radio station. He'd done his job and come home to be greeted with licks and small woofs from Teddy while Spork and Bastard meowed for their morning food. Chuckling, Hisashi went about fixing up breakfast and lunch for Izuku. Ever since the almost fiasco with the cookies, both Hisashi and Shouta had taken to fixing lunches and dinners for the boy. On a few memorable occasions, Izuku even ate dinner with them in their kitchen. The boy was fond of pork and green beans, but detested Brussels sprouts with a passion. Shouta had, in a bout of rare playfulness, dubbed the boy Sprout in honor of his hatred. The outraged sputtering that Izuku had aimed towards the man was, undoubtedly, the funniest thing Hisashi had seen in quite some time. As he finished up Izuku's lunch, tying off the bento box with a cute, embroidered napkin, because Hisashi could be a sap sometimes, and especially for the little neighbor that had wormed his way into his heart, a gentle knock came at the front door. Izuku had long since learned that Shouta kept to a varied sleep schedule, so the child tried often to be as quiet as he could until he knew if the man was awake or not. Actually, Izuku, for being such a passionate child, was often quiet. It was somewhat concerning to Hisashi, although Shouta made the point that they shouldn't judge too quickly. They'd only known the boy for a few months after all. But still, Hisashi's gut instinct was telling him that something was very, very wrong in the Midoriya household. Going to answer the door, Hisashi greeted Izuku with a wide grin. "Hey kiddo," he whispered emphatically. "Shouta's asleep, but come on in for a minute. I made breakfast." It had become a usual occurrence for Hisashi to feed Izuku breakfast as well. It worried Hisashi how Izuku never rejected any of the food, because what kind of home life was that showing for him? But at least the child had started gaining some weight. Hisashi couldn't count the boy's ribs when he hugged him anymore, at least, which was saying something. "Good morning, Mr. Hisashi," Izuku whispered right back. "Thank you for the breakfast." Izuku always said his pleases and thank yous, like the good little angel he was. Did Mr. Shouta have a late night? Shouta had gotten in around 2 in the morning, which was actually a bit of an early patrol for him, but 2 a.m. to an 8-year-old was ridiculously late, so Hisashi merely chuckled and nodded. "Yeah, he did, but he'll be awake when you come around to get Teddy this afternoon. I'll be at work today." "Okay," Izuku nodded. "Mr. Teddy and I wanted to try a new route today, through the running trail at the park we go to." Hisashi paused for a moment, then frowned. "Izuku, the nearest park is almost 3 miles away. Are you really walking that far?" It was a horrible distance for such a small child to walk, even if he did walk himself to school every day. And it took him across a major intersection. Well, it would explain why Teddy was so calm at home if he was walking more than 6 miles every day. But that meant that Izuku had to be walking over 10 miles a day, or around that much, because of his commute to school, which didn't even cover his normal throughout the day walking. Izuku must have misinterpreted Hisashi's frown because the boy tensed and began to stammer. I don't have to take Mr. Teddy that far. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. No, it's okay. Hisashi quickly interrupted the child before he could begin to panic too much. I'm just concerned about you. Aren't you tired at the end of the day? 3 miles plus is a lot, even for a spry little kid like yourself. Izuku brightened as he ate his breakfast, and Hisashi nearly melted under the child's pure sunshiny gaze. Oh, it's fine, Mr. Zashi. I like being away from the house. It's better. It's better. Better than what? Being around his father? It wasn't the first slightly concerning statement Izuku had made, but none of his comments had ever been valid enough to do anything about. Hisashi knew Shouta was keeping a close eye out for Mr. Midoriya ever since Izuku's admittance to not being fed properly, but the man must have kept even odder hours than the pro heroes, because neither of them had yet to see him in the past 3 months of knowing Izuku. Again, concerning. Okay then, Hisashi murmured, hoping he didn't sound as unconvinced as he felt. Izuku was placated enough by his statement though, so Hisashi moved on to grab Teddy's harness and leash. But Izuku, if you ever want to just get away from your house or anything, you can always come over here, you know. You guys aren't always home, Izuku shrugged. Hisashi smiled softly and then made the offer that he and Shouta had been speaking of for the past week or so. We have an extra key. I'll give it to you today and you can let yourself in whenever you want, whether we're home or not. I'm sure Teddy and the cats would like the company. That sound good, kiddo? And damn, why did Izuku look like he was about to cry? Hisashi quickly went to comfort the child, but Izuku managed to cut off his tears before they could start in earnest, sniffling and choking out. Do you mean it, Mr. Zashi? I can really come over whenever? Of course, Hisashi promised with a smile. Of course I mean it, kiddo. And Shouta feels the same way. So please, let us welcome you. Let us take care of you, kiddo. Lord knows you could use it. Hesitating only for a moment, Izuku nodded. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Zashi. And please tell Mr. Shouta thank you for me too. God, Hisashi was going to die from the cuteness of this freaking kid. Of course, kiddo. Now, you might want to head on out before Teddy dies of excitement. Izuku giggled wetly, going to take the leash from Hisashi. It was then that the sleeve on the boy's shirt rode up, and Hisashi caught a glimpse of pink, puckered skin around the child's wrist. Unable to stop from tensing, only barely able to keep in his gasp, Hisashi quickly took stock of the blistering burn that seemed to wrap around Izuku's pale skin like a grotesque bracelet. Izuku froze, noticing Hisashi's tension, and hummed in question. Kiddo, what happened to your wrist? Hisashi started, reaching out to take Izuku's hand, and Izuku flinched. It was a full-body motion, one that ripped the previous silent gasp out of the voice hero's chest. Izuku's emerald eyes were wide, wild, and fearful as they stared at Hisashi. Slowly, the man retracted his hands and held them upwards, trying to placate the frightened child. But Izuku didn't seem to be looking at Hisashi. If anything, the child seemed to be looking through him, lost in his own world, distracted by horrible thoughts, or perhaps memories. It scared Hisashi. Hey, kiddo, can you talk to me? Izuku, sweetheart, please say something. You're safe. You're here, and I won't let anyone hurt you, okay? Izuku? Zashi, came a sleepy murmur from the bedroom doorway. Shouta appeared, hair in wild disarray and rubbing sand from his eyes. Is Izuku still here? What? But then sleepy black eyes caught onto frightened lime green, and Shouta was lurching forward to crouch in front of Izuku next to his husband. Izuku? Hey, Sprout. You're okay. You're safe. Whatever you're seeing, it's not here. Not now. Izuku whimpered. Fucking whimpered. And Shouta gently raised a hand. I'm going to touch your hand, Izuku. Please tell me to stop if you need me to. And then, as softly as he could, Shouta took Izuku's hand in his own, the boy's pale, sweaty hand looking oh so tiny beneath Shota's own larger, calloused fingers, and rested the child's palm against his chest. Steadily, Shouta began to breathe in and out exaggeratedly, trying to get Izuku to follow the pattern. And it worked. Slowly, painfully slowly, it worked. Izuku's eyes seemed to clear up, and they came to focus on the worried faces of the two pro heroes crouching in front of him. The boy winced, quickly pulling his hand away from Shota's chest, and began to search for Teddy's leash. Sorry about that, the child stuttered. I'll just take Mr. Teddy and go now. Izuku. Shota's voice was calm and even, but held no room for lying. Are you okay? I'm fine. I mean at home. Is everything alright? Suddenly the boy's face twisted up in anger. It took Hisashi aback because he had never seen Izuku get angry before. The child's green brows scrunched up, and tears welled in his eyes as his face turned a dark pink. I'm fine, Izuku cried out. I'm okay, alright? Stop asking me if I'm okay because I am fine. Rather than rise to the boy's heat, Shouta raised his hands in a truce. Okay, alright, everything's fine, Izuku. I'll stop asking about home. But he wouldn't stop investigating. Hisashi knew his husband well enough to know that. Anger gone, looking suddenly guilty, Izuku shuffled his feet against the carpet and bit his lip as he looked anywhere else but at the two men in front of him. It wasn't my dad. I'm fine at home, really. Hisashi cleared his throat. Was it someone else? Someone at school, maybe? Izuku winced again, and Hisashi knew he'd hit the nail on the head. Kachan, he doesn't mean it, Izuku quickly said. He doesn't know any better. The teachers don't tell him not to, so he just... His quirk is really, really strong, and I think it messes with his brain sometimes. But not just with his mind, but with his brain and sweat and stuff. Izuku looked frustrated, grabbing at his hair with a huff. It's hard to explain. This Kachan, Shouta began. He's not a friend of yours, is he? He used to be, was the quiet reply. And boy, if Hisashi's heart hadn't already broken 5 times that day, the dejected and utterly heartbroken look Izuku had was far too mature for such a youthful face. It was as much saddening as it was terrifying. You need to tell the teachers if someone's hurting you, Izuku. I have, the boy protested. They said I'm instigating it or something. They said that Kachan's good and that he wouldn't hurt anybody. They don't care about... Izuku's words trailed off, and he muttered something. Hisashi asked, what was that last part? They don't care about a Deku like me. Oh, kiddo, Hisashi sniffled in time with Izuku's own tears, opening his arms in an offer. And for all that Izuku had been flinches and hesitation that morning, the child didn't seem to fear the embrace Hisashi was offering. Izuku flung himself forward, hugging Hisashi for all that he was worth. And Hisashi hugged him even tighter in response. Shouta rested a hand on Izuku's back, rubbing in soothing circles. We need to tend to your wrist before we go for that walk. We? Izuku asked, looking confused. Well, I'm already awake, aren't I? And Hisashi's not going anywhere for a few hours. Teddy's our dog anyways. We've got to take some responsibility for him. So we'll walk with you today. Like a switch being flipped, Izuku lit up and began rambling on about the new park route he wanted to take Teddy on. The dog in question sat next to the boy, head tilted in confusion as he tried to sneak licks in on the child's freckled face while Izuku gestured wildly. Hisashi went to grab his shoes, feeling his throat close up when he glanced behind him and saw the fond smile Shouta was fixating on Izuku. The boy wasn't theirs, Hisashi had to remind himself. They could fight for him and offer him solace and try to encourage him, but Izuku wasn't theirs. He couldn't let himself forget that. Alright guys, that was chapter 2, and I struggled kind of reading this a little bit because all of the emotions in it made me want to cry, and it made my throat close up. I mean, it's toddler Izuku we're reading about here, and I can't be the only one, you know? So please let me know if you guys get that feeling, that choked up feeling, because it was tough. And I don't know if I'll ever get to the point where I'll be able to read you guys stories where Izuku is hurt far worse, you know? But I'll build up to it. Anyways, guys, do me a solid and leave a comment down below and leave a like and subscribe if you guys like my voice or you want to hear more or anything along these lines of MHA fics and stuff. There's many, many more that have caught my eye. Hopefully the authors respond and allow me the opportunity to share it with you guys. Y'all have a good day, have a good week. Don't forget to drink water and eat something far more sustaining than probably what I've been eating. You know, do as I say, not as I do.